Who first said humility was a virtue? And more importantly, who benefited when you believe them? You call it goodness. I call it a strategy. You speak of virtue as if it descended from the sky, as if it were whispered to you by angels, as if it had nothing to do with fear, with envy, with power. But I ask you, what if morality isn't about truth or goodness, but about control? What if it did not fall from heaven, but was crafted like a tool, like a chain, like a weapon? You recite commandments, but you never ask, where did these values come from? Who defined them? Who stood to gain? When you were taught to be humble, to be obedient, selfless, self-denying, was that for your growth or for your submission? You see, morality is not eternal. It is not divine. All morality, I wrote in On the Genealogy of Morals, is at bottom a will to power. Not love, not reason, not cosmic justice. Power. The question is not, is this good? The question is, who does this serve? So, I ask you again, the values you live by, the ones you teach your children, defend online, confess in shame, did you choose them, or were they chosen for you? Let us begin where all true value begins, with the one who does not ask permission. Master morality is the morality of those who feel strong. It is not imposed. It does not beg for validation. It does not need a priest to explain it, nor a law to enforce it. The noble man does not ask, what is good? He says, this is good, because I do it. Strength is good. Pride is good. Confidence, joy, conquest, beauty. These are the values of one who creates himself. To be noble is not to dominate others. It is to affirm life in yourself. It is to rejoice in your power, not to crush, but to expand, to overflow. The noble soul, I wrote in Zarathustra, has reverence for itself, not self-worship, self-recognition. Master morality is not a reaction. It is a yes to life. The strong call themselves good because they feel alive, they feel noble, they feel radiant. And what do they call evil? Not what is sinful, not what is rebellious, but what is base, what is sick, what is weak, decaying, joyless. Evil is that which drags life down, that which poisons its bloom, that which pretends to be good by denying the very pulse of existence. The noble does not hate the weak. He simply does not wish to become them. He walks upright. He speaks plainly. He acts from within. He does not follow a moral system. He is one. But what happens when the weak can no longer bear their weakness? When they look up at the noble soul, joyful, radiant, self-assured, and instead of saying, how can I become like that? They whisper, how can I bring him down? This is the birth of what I call slave morality. It is not created by the powerful. It is created by those who feel powerless. It is born not from joy, but from resentment. The slave cannot conquer, so he corrupts. He cannot rise, so he redefines. He inverts the moral code. Strength becomes cruelty. Pride becomes arrogance. Joy becomes sin. Vitality becomes temptation. Power becomes evil. And what becomes good? Obedience, humility, self-sacrifice, silence, suffering. Virtues as a cage, disguised as wisdom. But do not be deceived. This is not a neutral evolution of morality. It is a strategic reversal. It is revenge, disguised as virtue. They could not be strong, so they called weakness a virtue. They could not create, so they condemned creation as pride. They could not dance, so they cursed the music. And they built a morality designed not to uplift, but to control. How? With guilt, with shame, with the sacred tools of psychological warfare. If you feel joy, you are told to apologize. If you stand tall, you are told to bow. If you desire, you are told to repent. This morality does not lift the weak. It binds the strong. It is not about compassion. It is about neutralizing excellence. And the most tragic part? You carry these values as if they were your own. If you want to see slave morality in its purest, most triumphant form, you need look no further than the cross, Christianity, the crowning achievement of slave morality, the moment when suffering was declared sacred, when obedience was named divine, when self-negation was painted as the highest good. In the ancient world, the hero was strong, radiant, joyful, Achilles, Odysseus, Caesar. But Christianity gave you a new hero, bleeding, silent, broken, beaten, Christ, the inversion of the noble ideal, and with him came a revolution. Blessed are the meek. Turn the other cheek. Judge not. These are not teachings of love. They are strategies of the powerless, designed not to empower, but to neuter power itself. Christianity did not overcome the nobleman. It redefined him into a sinner. It did not defeat strength. It called strength evil. It did not raise the weak. It made weakness holy. It created a God who was not the thunderbolt, but the wound. A God who does not command, but forgives. Who does not celebrate life, but condemns it as a test. From the Antichrist I wrote, Christianity is a rebellion of everything that crawls on the ground against that which is elevated. The gospel of the lowly makes war on every elevation of soul. This was not salvation. This was revenge, sanctified. The slave, unable to conquer his master, declares that all masters are immoral. He turns his pain into proof of righteousness. He kneels and demands that the world kneel with him. Christianity did not slay the noble spirit. It shamed it into silence and called it love. You still think morality is about being good. Then you have not yet understood what I am saying. Morality is a war, but not an honest war. Not the clash of swords or the roar of armies. No. This is a war fought in whispers, in pulpits, in classrooms, in bedrooms. It is not fought with weapons, but with words, with guilt, with praise, with shame. Slave morality does not confront its enemy, it subverts him. It says, strength is dangerous, pride is sin, desire is shameful, obedience is holy. It does not challenge power directly. It makes power feel guilty for existing. The strong are taught to apologize for their clarity, to dull their ambition, to lower their voice. You begin to feel that your joy must be earned through penance, that your greatness is a burden, that your vitality is unfair, and morality whispers, tone it down. Think of others. Don't be selfish. Be good. But I ask you now, what does good mean to you? Do you believe what you believe because you know it to be true, or because it makes you feel safe? Do you call it compassion when it is just fear in a mask? Do you call it humility when it is your power chained? Morality became a hidden war when it stopped being about life and became about taming it. And the tragedy is, you join the fight without knowing which side you're on. You believe you are modern. You believe you have progressed. But I look upon your world, and I see the same disease, just wearing new clothes. Slave morality did not disappear. It went digital. It found new pulpits, your screens, new rituals, your hashtags, new saints, your victims. Today, you no longer prove your virtue to power, excellence, or creation. Number, you prove it by showing how much you have suffered. Victimhood is your moral currency. The more you have been wounded, the more authority you are granted. You confess your sins publicly, not to cleanse yourself, but to signal your humility. You join outrage mobs, not to seek truth, but to perform penance. You call it justice, but it is merely guilt politics. If you don't feel bad, you're a bad person. That is the new commandment. You do not argue any more. You shame. You do not persuade. You cancel. You do not ascend. You accuse. And, worst of all, you have taken the wound and turned it into a crown. You wear your pain like royalty. You parade your trauma as virtue, and then you demand worship for it. But tell me, what is sacred about staying broken? What is noble about refusing to heal? What is virtuous in silencing the strong so the wounded can feel tall? You are not transcending oppression. You are canonizing it, and in doing so, you remain exactly where slave morality wants you, down, afraid, and convinced that it makes you good. Now, we turn inward. You've heard me speak of the weak and the strong, of pride and resentment, of slave and master. But this war I've described, it is not only in history, not only in religion or politics, it is within you. So I ask, which voice do you obey in yourself? When you feel the stirrings of boldness, do you stand up tall, or do you lower your eyes? When you feel joy, strength, defiance, do you express it, or do you cover it with polite silence? Do you affirm life, or do you apologize for it? Ask yourself honestly, do you act from vitality or from the fear of disapproval? When you say, that's wrong, whose voice is that? Is it your voice, forged from clarity and courage, or is it the whisper of cowards, long dead, still clinging to your conscience like a parasite? Is your morality your own? Or is it simply the echo of a prison you've grown too comfortable to escape? You were told that virtue means self-denial, that obedience is peace, that comfort is good. But now you know better. So I challenge you, is your morality an act of creation or an act of surrender? Have you authored your values, or inherited them like furniture from a house you never wanted to live in? You do not escape the war of values by being neutral. You only surrender without realizing it, and make number. Mistake. If you do not choose what is good, someone else already has. Now you ask, must I choose? Must I be the master or the slave, the tyrant or the servant, the proud lion or the obedient lamb? Number. These are not destinies. They are starting points. They are the ruins from which something new must rise. You are not bound to repeat the war. You are called to transcend it. You do not need to dominate. You do not need to obey. You need to create. To go beyond good and evil, not by abandoning values, but by creating them from the fire of your own becoming. This is the path of the Übermensch. Not a tyrant, not a saint, but a self-legislator. A being who does not ask, what is permitted, but instead asks, what is worthy of me, worthy of my strength, worthy of my time, worthy of my suffering, worthy of the one I am still becoming. The free spirit does not seek permission. He seeks meaning. He does not look to heaven. He looks within. He affirms life without needing reward. He suffers without demanding pity. He creates without asking for applause. And yes, he is dangerous, because he cannot be controlled by the morality of the herd, nor by the resentment of the weak. He is sovereign, joyful, fearless, unapologetically alive. So I ask you, can you live beyond these categories? Can you step beyond obedience and vengeance, and become a creator of values, not to dominate, but to dance, not to conform, but to sing your own hymn into the chaos? That is the question, and only the brave will answer. Let us be clear now. Morality is not sacred. It is strategy, a set of tools, a way of living, a system someone, somewhere, long ago, chose. You treat it like law, but I tell you, it is just tradition fossilized into habit. You kneel before it. You teach it to your children. You carve it into stone. And yet, have you ever asked, is it true? Is it mine? Is it worthy of me? If not, then it must be torn down. He who has to be a creator, I wrote, always has to destroy. Creation is not polite. It is not passive. It does not come after permission. You cannot build a cathedral on rotting lies. You must clear the ground, burn the old altars, shatter the inherited gods, break the chains that whisper in the voice of virtue. Do not wait for society's blessing. Do not wait for tradition's approval. Stop obeying values you did not choose. Start forging values from your strength, from your joy, from your danger, from your vision. You are not a vessel to be filled. You are a flame to be kindled. So I leave you with this. He who creates values must first destroy lies. So pick up the hammer. Your soul depends on it.